The higher powers of mind and spirit. Introduction. The secret to a fulfilled and harmonious life lies within the untapped realms of our inner being. We are dual citizens, inhabitants of both the physical world and an invisible kingdom governed by thought and spirit, where true creative power resides. Our outer experiences are not random. They are shaped by the forces of the mind and the quiet stirrings of the spirit. In this journey of self-discovery, the relationship between the mind, spirit, and body is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. The unseen energies of thought and intention influence the world around us in profound ways. When aligned with universal principles, these forces become instruments of healing, growth, and purpose, enabling us to build a life of peace and success. Without this awareness, however, we remain trapped in cycles of limitation, unable to fully harness our potential. The subconscious mind serves as the bridge between the soul and the body, a hidden architect that shapes our reality according to the beliefs and intentions we hold. Its power extends deep, influencing our health, resilience, and capacity for renewal. By aligning conscious thought with higher truths, the subconscious becomes a powerful channel for transformation and creative force. This understanding offers more than philosophy. It is a practical guide to self-mastery. By embracing timeless wisdom and scientific insights, we can cultivate intentionality, integrity, and balance in every aspect of life. The power of focused thought, deliberate action, and spiritual connection serves not only to shape individual well-being but also to foster collective harmony. At its core, this truth is a call to action, to awaken to the vast potential within, and to recognize that life is not something that happens to us, but something we co-create with every thought, belief, and choice. By harnessing these higher powers, we step into a life where personal fulfillment and collective well-being thrive side by side, leaving behind a legacy of peace, purpose, and positive influence. Chapter 1. The Two Kingdoms of Human Existence. We live as citizens of two kingdoms, each shaping our existence in ways both visible and unseen. The outer kingdom is that of the physical, our body, senses, and the tangible world around us. Here, we move through life, building, striving, and creating in pursuit of comfort, security, and accomplishment. Yet, beneath this outer world lies a far more profound realm, the inner kingdom of mind and spirit. It is in this unseen domain where thoughts are formed, beliefs take root, and the essence of who we are quietly resides. Though we often become absorbed by the demands of the physical, it is the inner kingdom that holds the true power to shape our lives. The outer world may appear to dictate our circumstances, but in truth it is merely a reflection of the forces at work within. Every achievement, every struggle, and every transformation begins in the quiet sanctuary of the mind and spirit. This inner realm is the forge where our reality is molded, not by coincidence or chance, but by the creative energies of thought, intention, and will. There is a common misconception that spiritual powers belong solely to mystics or extraordinary figures. This could not be further from the truth. These powers are not distant or unattainable. They are as close as our own breath, as present as our innermost thoughts. To perceive them as mystical abstractions is to overlook their practical and transformative nature. They are as real and essential as the air we breathe and the gravity that anchors us to the earth. They are the currents that shape the river of our daily lives, capable of guiding us to heights of fulfillment or depths of despair, depending on how we engage with them. Within each of us lies the capacity to influence our experience of the world, not through brute force or manipulation, but through the subtle yet potent mastery of our inner self. This mastery begins with the recognition that our thoughts are not passive echoes of external events, but powerful seeds capable of shaping those very events. When tended with care and intention, they can grow into a life of harmony, purpose, and peace. Left untended, they can sprout chaos and fear. To understand the significance of this inner kingdom is to awaken to the profound truth that we are co-creators of our destiny. Life is not something that happens to us. It is something we actively shape from within. This realization invites us to turn inward, to nurture the spiritual self that yearns to guide us toward our highest potential. It calls us to replace doubt with trust, fear with courage, and confusion with clarity. The unseen forces of mind and spirit are not bound by the limitations of the physical. They are vast, dynamic, and responsive to our conscious engagement. When we attune ourselves to these higher powers, life's obstacles become opportunities for growth, and setbacks transform into stepping stones. The power that resides within is not merely theoretical. It is a living force waiting to be activated by those willing to embrace it. By shifting our attention from the noise of the external world to the wisdom of the inner one, we begin to cultivate a life led by intention rather than reaction. In doing so, we transcend the illusion that we are powerless against life's circumstances and awaken to the truth that we are at all times capable of change, creation, and renewal. This is the path of those who understand the dual nature of existence, not as a burden to be managed, but as a gift to be explored. In the harmony of the two kingdoms lies the secret to a life of authenticity and purpose, and as we navigate the balance between the physical and the spiritual, we uncover a truth that resonates at the core of our being, that the greatest journeys begin within. Chapter 2. Mind and Spirit, the Silent Architects of Reality. Beneath the surface of every human life, there is an intricate and silent process unfolding, a ceaseless flow of activity within the mind and spirit that sculpts the reality we experience. Though unseen, these forces shape not only our perceptions but the very fabric of our lives. It is not the outer world that holds sway over our destiny, but the quiet inner realm where thoughts and emotions merge to mold our existence. Here, in the unseen chambers of our being, the architects of our reality work tirelessly, weaving our experiences from the raw materials of our beliefs, desires, and intentions. The mind, in its remarkable complexity, acts as a creator and director, sending forth patterns of thought that take form in the external world. The spirit, in its infinite wisdom, seeks harmony, guiding us toward our true path with gentle yet insistent whispers. Together, these forces collaborate in a continuous act of creation, transforming intangible visions into tangible realities. This process is as natural as the unfolding of a seed into a tree. Yet, it remains veiled for many, its significance overlooked amid the distractions of daily life. The laws that govern these silent builders are as unchanging as the laws of gravity and motion, yet they operate in a dimension that cannot be measured by the senses alone. These are the laws of thought and spirit, the universal principles that govern the unseen forces within us. They remind us that what we hold in our minds and hearts, whether fear or hope, scarcity or abundance, becomes the blueprint for our reality. Just as water conforms to the shape of its vessel, our outer lives take the form of our inner convictions. Those who fail to grasp these laws often feel adrift, perceiving life as a series of random events over which they have little control. But those who understand that their thoughts and spiritual alignment act as guiding forces discover a profound truth. They are co-creators in the grand design of their lives. To master these inner powers is to step into a role of conscious creation rather than passive acceptance. The mind, when left to wander aimlessly, may become a source of chaos. Yet when guided with purpose and aligned with the spirit's deeper wisdom, it becomes an instrument of profound transformation. Alignment with these fundamental rules leads to harmony, fulfillment, and growth. These things are not the consequence of chance. We must tune our inner selves to the rhythms of higher truths, just as a musician must tune their instrument to produce beautiful music. Instead of requiring perfection, this alignment calls for a genuine desire to pay attention, pick up knowledge, and have faith in the inner voice. Life moves with effortless ease when we behave according to these ideals. Obstacles become stepping stones, challenges become lessons, and even uncertain periods become part of a larger unfolding. In this process, the Spirit provides direction and illumination. It serves as a reminder that we are more than just physical beings interacting with the outside environment. There is a wellspring of fortitude, insight, and purpose inside of us that is unaffected by outside events. However, We must live with awareness and intention in order to honor its presence before we may unlock this spiritual potential. In times of silence, the Spirit speaks to us, asking us to overcome our doubts and fears, behave honorably, and have faith in the invisible powers that guide us. The key to unlocking this vast spiritual potential lies in our willingness to embrace these truths and embody them in our daily lives. When we align our thoughts with kindness, clarity, and courage, and when we open our hearts to the quiet guidance of the Spirit, we become conduits of creation rather than victims of circumstance. This is not a path of control or force, but of surrender to the higher flow of life's wisdom. It requires patience, self-reflection, and the courage to release what no longer serves our growth. In this way, life becomes a collaborative masterpiece, a dynamic interplay between our inner world and the universe itself. The silent builders within us work tirelessly, shaping our experiences from the raw essence of our deepest truths. When we nurture these truths, feeding them with faith, intention, and love, they take form in ways that surpass our imagination. To live in harmony with these laws is to awaken to a new way of being, where the mind and spirit become trusted allies in the creation of a life rich with meaning and beauty. We learn to trust the silent builders within us, recognizing that the life we seek is already taking shape, guided by the unbreakable laws of thought, spirit, and creation. When we live in alignment with these forces, we unlock the door to existence not only of achievement, but of profound inner peace, the kind that arises when we realize that the true architects of our reality have always been within us, shaping the path with every thought, belief, and act of faith. Chapter 3. The Subconscious Mind. The Bridge Between Spirit and Reality. The subconscious mind, a quiet but active mediator between the spirit and the body, is a huge and potent force that exists beneath the surface of conscious awareness. Spiritual intention emerges in this invisible world, directing life's rhythms from the intangible to the tangible. The subconscious serves as the portal through which invisible spiritual truths are revealed in the tangible world. Unlike the conscious mind, it responds, absorbs, and manifests rather than questioning or reasoning. This connection between the spirit and the body never stops working, impacting our feelings, actions, and physical well-being in ways we might not even be aware of. It stores the ideas and impressions that influence how we interact with the outside world and coordinates myriad bodily functions, such as heartbeat and cell regeneration. Its influence goes beyond the physical body, interlacing our goals and thoughts into the fabric of our experiences outside of it. The subconscious simply follows instructions, whether conscious or unconscious, and is neither good nor bad. The seeds sown within it yield results much like a fertile garden. To understand the role of the subconscious is to realize that it acts as a loyal servant to the conscious mind. Every thought we dwell upon, every belief we accept, and every emotion we foster is impressed upon the subconscious and becomes a pattern for action. In this way, it holds the key to shaping not only our internal states but also our outward circumstances. Yet, this immense potential often goes untapped or misused, as people unknowingly impress upon it thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation, unaware that they are reinforcing the very barriers they seek to overcome. When we engage consciously with the subconscious, we begin to unlock its true power. This engagement requires an understanding of the tools that influence its workings: suggestion, meditation, and intentional thought. Suggestion, whether self-directed or received from external sources, acts as a whisper in the ear of the subconscious. Repeated often enough, even the faintest suggestion can become an unshakable belief, influencing actions and outcomes. This is why it is crucial to guard the mind and speak to oneself with words of strength and assurance rather than fear and resignation. Meditation serves as the doorway to this deeper realm. In moments of stillness, when the noise of the conscious mind subsides, we gain access to the calm, receptive field of the subconscious. Here, spiritual intentions can be planted with clarity and purpose, free from the clutter of daily anxieties. Meditation creates space for the higher wisdom of the spirit to infuse the subconscious, guiding it to align with truth and harmony. It is in these moments of quiet communion that we remind the subconscious of its divine origin, gently steering it toward outcomes that reflect our highest aspirations. Conscious thought acts as the architect of the subconscious. While fleeting thoughts may come and go, those that are repeated with conviction and emotional energy imprint themselves upon the deeper mind, forming the blueprints from which life is constructed. When we choose to dwell on thoughts of love, abundance, and resilience, we train the subconscious to respond with corresponding realities. Conversely, when we harbor thoughts of lack, fear, or unworthiness, we unknowingly instruct the subconscious to create conditions that mirror these negative impressions. This knowledge entails freedom as well as responsibility. We are co-creators of our experience rather than victims of chance. Our lives are shaped by subconscious currents that we may manage by becoming intentional in our inner conversation and aware of the suggestions we let into our brains. The subconscious's invisible processes will produce observable effects with perseverance and faith, even though the change may not always happen right away. When we link our conscious objectives with the deeper rhythms of our being, the life we desire is already possible. This fundamental truth is revealed by the subconscious's role as a bridge between spirit and reality. The subconscious is a friend, not a foe, and is prepared to react to our vision with clarity and patience. Accepting its function as the devoted bridge between the higher self and the physical form allows us to access a wealth of creative potential. By cultivating our thoughts and intentions consciously, we awaken to a life that is fashioned by design rather than by accident. This life reflects the highest truths of the soul, which are made visible by the powerful yet unseen forces within. Chapter 4. The Universal Laws of Thought and Spirit. There is an unchanging order woven into the fabric of existence, an eternal system of laws that governs the interplay between thought, spirit, and the world around us. These laws operate as surely as the forces of nature, unseen yet undeniable, shaping the conditions of our lives according to the quality of our inner world. To understand and align with these laws is to tap into a boundless source of power, where the mind's connection to the infinite becomes a guiding force for transformation and fulfillment. At the core of these universal principles is the truth that thoughts are not merely fleeting impressions, but creative forces. Every thought holds the potential to set in motion a chain of events that extends beyond the confines of the mind, influencing our health, relationships, and life circumstances. Like ripples spreading across the surface of a lake, our inner beliefs and intentions resonate outward, forming the contours of our reality. What we hold in the sanctuary of our mind ultimately becomes the substance of our experience. This truth becomes clear when we reflect on how certain individuals, despite adverse conditions, rise to extraordinary heights of achievement and resilience. They do not succeed because of luck or external circumstances, but because they have aligned their thoughts and intentions with the unbreakable laws of spirit. By cultivating thoughts of courage, determination, and purpose, they set into motion a harmonious flow of energy that reinforces their path forward, regardless of temporary setbacks. In contrast, those who dwell in fear, doubt, or resentment often find themselves caught in a cycle of limitation, unaware that they are perpetuating their hardships through the very thoughts they harbor. The connection between thought and physical health further reveals the profound influence of these laws. When the mind is steeped in worry or anxiety, the body mirrors this inner discord, manifesting in tension, fatigue, and even illness. Yet when the mind embraces peace, hope, and a sense of purpose, the body responds with vitality and resilience. The ancient truth that, as within, so without, is not a mere adage, but a reflection of how the alignment of thought and spirit with universal law determines the state of our being. The body becomes a faithful servant to the mind's intentions, reflecting either the harmony or the dissonance we cultivate within. In relationships, the laws of thought and spirit operate with equal precision. The energy we project, whether rooted in love and understanding or in judgment and fear, affects not only how others perceive us, but how they respond to us. When we approach others with empathy and a genuine desire to uplift, We create an atmosphere of trust and openness that deepens connections. However, when we harbor resentment or mistrust, even subconsciously, it can erode the very bonds we seek to strengthen. By consciously choosing thoughts and intentions aligned with compassion and kindness, we foster relationships that reflect the deeper truths of unity and shared purpose. The power of positive alignment with these laws extends into every facet of life, enhancing creativity, resilience, and clarity of purpose. Creativity flourishes when the mind is free from the constraints of doubt and fear, allowing inspiration to flow from the wellspring of the spirit. Resilience emerges not from denial of challenges, but from a steadfast belief in the soul's capacity to rise above them. Purpose is illuminated when we align our actions with a vision guided by love, service, and a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves. Consider the stories of those who, against all odds, have transformed their lives through the deliberate cultivation of empowering thoughts. The artist who turns heartbreak into a masterpiece, the healer who uses their own suffering as a source of empathy and service, the innovator who sees obstacles as opportunities. These individuals embody the truth that when the mind and spirit are in harmony with universal law, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. To live in alignment with these laws is to live with the awareness that we are not passive observers of our fate, but active participants in its unfolding. It is to recognize that the universe responds not to fleeting wishes or empty affirmations, but to the steady, intentional work of shaping our thoughts to reflect our highest aspirations. This alignment is not about suppressing negative emotions or avoiding difficulties, but about grounding ourselves in a deeper truth, that we possess the power to transform any experience by choosing how we engage with it from within. When we embrace the universal laws of thought and spirit, we reclaim our role as co-creators of our lives. We step into a flow of life that is not free from challenges but filled with meaning and guided by purpose. Our thoughts become the architects of a reality imbued with resilience, joy, and possibility. The journey may not always be easy, but it is profoundly rewarding, for it leads us to the realization that the answers we seek have always been within us, waiting for us to align with the higher order that sustains all life. Chapter 5. Spiritual Evolution, Awakening the Divine Within. Human life is not a static existence, but a dynamic journey of unfolding, a continuous ascent from the material to the spiritual. We are not bound solely by the visible realities of form and matter. Beneath these layers lies an infinite wellspring of potential, a divine essence seeking expression in every moment of our lives. The process of living, at its core, is one of spiritual evolution, a gradual but profound awakening to the truth that we are far more than physical beings navigating a temporal world. In this evolution, the spiritual self stands as both a guide and a source. It is the center of wisdom and power, holding the blueprint of our highest possibilities. Unlike the fleeting ambitions of the ego, which seeks fulfillment in transient achievements, the spirit calls us toward lasting growth, purpose, and peace. This calling is not always loud or dramatic. More often it is a quiet but insistent voice within, a whisper that urges us to rise above fear, selfishness, and doubt. It reminds us that we are not here merely to survive, but to transcend, to transform, and to reflect the limitless potential of the divine within us. Yet, the path of spiritual evolution is not without its challenges. The physical world, with its demands and distractions, can pull our attention outward, anchoring us in concerns of survival and comfort. While the material has its rightful place, life becomes imbalanced when we allow it to eclipse the needs of the spirit. Many become trapped in cycles of routine and struggle, feeling a vague sense of discontent despite outward success. This restlessness is the soul's way of reminding us that we have settled for less than what we are capable of becoming. To heed this call for growth, we must turn inward and reconnect with our spiritual essence. Within each of us lies a profound capacity for renewal and transformation. The divine spark that animates our being is not distant or unreachable, it is woven into the fabric of our everyday existence. It reveals itself in moments of stillness, in acts of compassion, and in the quiet courage that allows us to face life's uncertainties with grace. To unfold this divine essence, we must cultivate practices that nurture our connection to the Spirit, allowing its wisdom and power to guide our actions and shape our lives. Meditation is one such practice, a sacred pause that quiets the noise of the external world and opens the gateway to the inner self. In the stillness of meditation, we create space for the higher self to speak, for clarity to emerge, and for the spiritual mind to reorder our thoughts and intentions. Prayer, too, serves as a bridge between the human and the divine, not as a plea for intervention, but as a conscious communion that aligns our will with the greater flow of life. Acts of service and kindness, performed with sincerity and humility, further anchor us in the awareness of our shared divinity, reminding us that growth is not a solitary endeavor, but a collective journey. As we engage in these practices, the spiritual self begins to reveal its full potential. The wisdom that once seemed elusive becomes a steady presence, illuminating our path through life's complexities. The strength that once felt out of reach rises within us, empowering us to face adversity with resilience and courage. Our relationships deepen as we recognize the same divine essence in others, fostering empathy, forgiveness, and genuine connection. The outward conditions of our lives may not always change immediately, but our inner experience becomes richer, steadier, and imbued with purpose. Spiritual evolution does not ask for perfection. It asks for openness, humility, and a willingness to grow. It is not about escaping the realities of the world, but about transforming how we engage with them. The more we cultivate the awareness of our spiritual nature, the more our actions align with higher principles, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond our individual lives. This unfolding is not a linear journey, but a continuous cycle of discovery, challenge, and renewal. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming more fully who we are meant to be. To embrace spiritual evolution is to reclaim the truth that we are co-creators in the grand design of existence. We are not bound by the limitations of our past or the expectations of the world. We are free to rise, to heal, and to create. The divine within us is inexhaustible, capable of infinite growth and expression. When we choose to live in alignment with this truth, life ceases to feel like a series of disconnected events and becomes a coherent, meaningful journey. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for transformation, and every success is a reflection of inner alignment. In this unfolding, we come to understand that the ultimate purpose of life is not accumulation, but actualization. Not to gain more, but to become more. By embracing the practices that nurture the spirit, we awaken to the vastness of our potential and step fully into the truth of who we are. This is the essence of spiritual evolution, the continual blossoming of the divine within, transforming not only our own lives but the world around us with its quiet, radiant power. Chapter 6. Pathways to Spiritual Mastery, Activating the Powers of Mind and Spirit. The journey to harness the higher powers of spirit and mind is not one of sudden miracles, but of intentional practice and steadfast commitment. These powers, though innate to every individual, remain dormant without conscious effort. Like a flame that must be kindled to provide warmth and light, the potential within must be cultivated with care. By engaging in deliberate practices that nurture our connection to the source of life within, we can awaken the higher faculties of thought and spirit and live with greater clarity, resilience, and purpose. The first and most profound pathway to spiritual mastery is the practice of stillness. In a world filled with constant noise and distraction, stillness becomes a rare and sacred refuge. Through meditation, we create space for the chatter of the mind to quiet, allowing the deeper wisdom of the spirit to surface. In moments of true stillness, we connect with the wellspring of peace that resides within us, a peace that cannot be disturbed by external circumstances. Meditation is not merely a withdrawal from the outer world, but a return to our center, where the truths of the universe are reflected clearly, like a still pond mirroring the sky. In this inner sanctuary, We become aware of the immense creative power of our thoughts. Our thoughts are not fleeting whispers, but seeds, each carrying the potential to shape the landscape of our lives. By choosing our thoughts with care and intention, we direct the course of our experiences. One of the most powerful tools for this process is the use of affirmations, statements of truth and intention that imprint upon the subconscious mind. When repeated with conviction and emotional resonance, affirmations align our inner world with the outcomes we seek to manifest. They remind us that we are not bound by past limitations, but are continually co-creating our reality in partnership with the higher self. Yet affirmations alone are not enough if they are spoken from a place of doubt or impatience. To harness their full power, we must believe in the truths they proclaim and embody them in our daily actions. This requires not only intention but also consistency and patience. Just as a tree does not bear fruit overnight, the transformation of our inner world takes time. Spiritual growth is a process of steady cultivation, where each small step contributes to a greater unfolding. By remaining faithful to our practices even when results are not immediately visible, we strengthen our connection to the higher forces at work within us. Beyond meditation and affirmations, another essential pathway to activating spiritual power is found in acts of service and compassion. When we extend kindness to others, we align ourselves with the universal law of unity. Service is not merely an act of generosity, it is a recognition of our interconnectedness. In lifting others, we lift ourselves. In healing others, we heal a part of our own soul. Compassion opens the heart and deepens our connection to the divine, dissolving the barriers of fear, pride, and isolation that hinder spiritual growth. True service does not require grand gestures or public recognition. It is found in the quiet moments of empathy, in the willingness to listen without judgment, and in the small but sincere acts of love that brighten someone else's day. By practicing compassion, we become vessels through which the higher energies of love and grace flow into the world. This flow not only nourishes those around us, but also replenishes our own spirit, reinforcing the truth that spiritual power grows not through accumulation, but through giving. These habits are woven into a long-lasting way of life by patience and consistency. When life's obstacles test our commitment or progress seems to be moving slowly, it is tempting to lose hope. Nonetheless, spiritual mastery is forged in these exact situations. Our inner environment is shaped by the perseverance of our practices, much like a sculptor creates a masterpiece by meticulous attention to detail and repetitive effort. A chisel stroke that unveils the divine form within us is made possible by every act of service, positive affirmation, and meditation. This road offers a significant change in how we handle life's challenges, but it does not guarantee that there will be no hardship. By establishing spiritual practices as a foundation, we cultivate a resilience that endures hardship. We come to view challenges as chances for greater development and alignment, rather than as obstacles. Those who are grounded in their spiritual nature remain unfazed by life's storms, finding strength in the limitless reservoir that exists within them. Ultimately, the practical pathways to harnessing spiritual powers are not a means to escape the world, but to transform how we engage with it. Meditation, affirmations, and acts of compassion serve as bridges between the spiritual and the material, allowing us to bring the wisdom of the unseen into the realm of action. Through these practices, we align our lives with the universal rhythm of creation, becoming conscious participants in the unfolding of our destiny. The power of the Spirit does not belong to the few, it belongs to all who are willing to cultivate it with humility, intention, and love. By walking these pathways with patience and consistency, we awaken the higher self and discover that the life of peace, purpose, and abundance we seek is not found outside of us. It is waiting within, ready to blossom through our commitment to the journey. The unfolding may be slow, but it is certain that the seeds of divine power, once nurtured, will grow and bear fruit beyond our highest expectations. Chapter 7. The Legacy of Living Through Spirit. A life aligned with spiritual principles is like a light in the darkness, subtle yet powerful, illuminating not only the path of the one who walks it, but also the paths of those nearby. The impact of such a life cannot always be measured in immediate or visible terms, yet its influence extends far beyond individual moments. A single soul that awakens to its divine potential becomes a beacon, sending out ripples of hope, inspiration, and transformation into the world. This is the legacy of living through spirit, a legacy that outlives the physical form and resonates across time and space. When an individual embraces the higher powers of the mind and spirit, their life begins to shift in profound ways. The small reactive self, prone to fear, doubt, and limitation, gives way to an expansive awareness of purpose and possibility. Choices become guided not by fleeting desires, but by principles that reflect the deeper truths of existence. This alignment creates an unmistakable sense of calm and conviction that radiates outward. Those who come into contact with such an individual are often inspired even if they cannot fully explain why. There is something unmistakable about a person who lives in harmony with their higher nature, an authenticity, a quiet strength, a peace that draws others toward their own awakening. The strength of this spiritual alignment comes from practicing love, patience, and compassion in ordinary situations rather than from large-scale acts. A gentle remark at the appropriate moment can mend a wound that is invisible to the outside world. Long-thought broken bonds can be repaired by a forgiving heart. Beyond the present situation, a life lived in service of goodness and truth has a cascading effect. It encourages people to discover their own inner light and has an invisible impact on life. People who live through spirit frequently transform their seemingly everyday deeds into incredible change catalysts, uplifting entire families, communities, and even generations. This spiritual awakening's knock-on impact is not coincidental. Rather, it is evidence of how intertwined all existence is. The metamorphosis of a single soul contributes to the collective evolution of humanity. Just like a pebble placed into a calm pond causes waves that eventually reach every corner. When one person overcomes fear and accepts love, they open the door for others to follow suit. A chain of suffering is broken, and a new story of healing is written when one person chooses forgiveness over resentment. This is how, one choice at a time, one heart at a time, personal development promotes group elevation. The legacy of living through spirit is not about accolades or recognition. It is about the quiet but undeniable shift that occurs when a life is lived in alignment with the highest ideals. This legacy is written not in achievements, but in the memories of those whose lives have been touched by kindness, in the moments of courage that inspire others to persevere, and in the invisible yet enduring bonds of love that outlast the passing of years. A life lived through spirit leaves behind not monuments of stone, but impressions on the soul. This is the call of the higher self, to live in such a way that our presence becomes a blessing to the world. It is a call to awaken to the truth that we are not separate beings moving through isolated experiences, but threads in the greater tapestry of life. Every choice we make, every thought we nurture, and every action we take contributes to the unfolding of that tapestry. By harnessing the powers of mind and spirit, we become conscious weavers of beauty, healing, and growth. To awaken and live by these higher powers is not to escape life's difficulties, but to engage with them from a place of wisdom and strength. It is to recognize that the challenges we face are not obstacles, but opportunities for transformation. It is to trust that even the smallest acts of love and integrity carry the potential to create lasting change. The journey may be long, but its rewards are immeasurable: a life of meaning, a legacy of upliftment, and a soul at peace. In this realization lies an invitation to live with intention, to embrace the daily practices that nurture the spirit, and to trust in the unseen yet profound power that resides within. Each of us holds the capacity to create ripples that extend far beyond our reach. Each of us can choose to live in a way that not only enriches our own lives, but also leaves the world a little brighter, a little kinder, and a little more whole. The time to awaken is now. The time to harness the higher powers of mind and spirit is now. In doing so, we become part of something far greater than ourselves, a movement of growth and harmony that echoes across generations. This is the legacy of living through spirit, a life not defined by what we accumulate, but by the love, wisdom, and light we leave behind. Epilogue. A journey within and beyond. As the journey through the realms of mind and spirit comes to a close, a quiet realization settles in. The true voyage was never outward but inward. At every turn, the call has been the same: to awaken, to listen, and to become. The path of spiritual evolution, though vast and sometimes winding, always leads us home to ourselves. Along the way, we have seen how our thoughts create worlds, how the whispers of the subconscious guide the currents of life, and how spiritual alignment can transform even the simplest of moments into profound reflections of truth. It is easy, in the rush of daily life, to forget the sacred power that resides within. Yet, each breath is an invitation to remember. The higher powers of mind and spirit are not reserved for moments of contemplation alone. They are woven into the fabric of every decision, every relationship, and every challenge we face. They invite us to step away from the illusions of limitation and fear, not by abandoning the world, but by engaging with it more fully, with clarity, compassion, and courage. This journey asks for humility, for we must first recognize the ways we have allowed fear, ego, and doubt to shape our inner landscape. But it also asks for boldness, the boldness to rise each day and cultivate a life of intention. To align our thoughts with the infinite is not a fleeting task, but a practice of becoming, repeated with faith and resilience. It is a steady act of creation, like the sculptor who chisels away at the stone until the masterpiece emerges. And what is the masterpiece we are sculpting? It is nothing less than our truest self, formed through the quiet moments of stillness, the deliberate choice of love over judgment, and the unshakable belief that we are here not merely to exist, but to unfold the divine potential within us. Every step forward, every misstep, and every triumph serves this unfolding. Yet, this journey is not for us alone. As we awaken, we become conduits of light in a world that often feels clouded by doubt and division. Our inner transformation sends ripples outward, touching lives we may never fully know. This is the legacy of living through spirit, not fame or wealth, but a quiet revolution of the heart that leaves behind peace, love, and inspiration in its wake. In this way, our lives become not only stories of personal growth, but verses in the greater symphony of humanity's evolution. There will be times when the path feels uncertain, when the noise of the world grows louder than the whisper of the spirit. Yet in those moments, we can return to the quiet truths we have learned, that stillness restores clarity, that intention shapes reality, and that service to others nourishes the soul. These truths are our compass, pointing us toward lives that reflect the beauty and resilience of the spirit within. As the final page of this reflection turns, the journey does not end, it only deepens. The invitation remains open, to trust in the silent builders of our reality, to honor the laws that govern the mind and spirit, and to live with a love that transcends fear. This is the sacred task of our time, not to master the world, but to master ourselves, so that in mastering ourselves we may uplift the world. The next step is always ours to take. Let it be taken with humility, joy, and the unshakable faith that the higher powers within us are already at work, guiding us toward a life of purpose, peace, and boundless possibility. The true unfolding begins anew with every conscious breath, a reminder that we are, and have always been, vessels of the infinite.